Alright, so what we want to do is we want to actually make a HUD system so we can see our health go up and go down. So what we're going to focus on today is creating our HUD and getting our life bars on there so we can see what's killing us, etc., how much health we have left, all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have a couple things that I've already built just so we can kind of go through them quicker. But inside my blueprints, where you have your third-person character, I created a folder called HUD. Inside of HUD, I created TP HUD where I've finished all my code, and I'm going to make a new one right now. So I'm going to make TP HUD 2. So right-click, user interface, widget blueprint, TP HUD 2. Right, so that's just my new HUD. That's third-person HUD 2. Then you're going to double-click it. So this brings us to UMG. So I've used UMG a little bit in creating everything. So we're in creating our menus and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead and use a couple different things. One thing we need is the progress bar. So I'm going to drag the progress bar down and kind of make it as big as you think it should be in your scene, because this is going to be on your screen at all times, so however big you want it. And then we're going to do a text as well. And that text is pretty simple to use. So this one is going to be my health bar. So I'm going to go up here. It says progress bar. I'm going to call that health bar. My text block will be called just health text. Okay. And then for where it says text block, I'm going to change this to say health. Now I know what it is. So let's check out how these progress bars work. They're pretty cool. We have something called percent. So if I raise that up or down, I can actually see my bar go up. By default, it's blue. I'm going to go ahead and change that to green because usually we mark health as green. So now if I do the percent, it works pretty well. Okay. And I compile and save that. And then I'm going to go to my third person character. So my third person character, I already built some stuff to actually test this out. Okay, to actually test our bar going up and down. And all that good stuff. So what I did was just drag out some keys, J and K, and J is going to increase my health and K is going to decrease my health. So I'll go ahead and do that for you again. So I'm going to right click, go to input, keyboard events, and you can pick whatever key you want. Because we're just testing it. So maybe I'll do in and M. So I'll do in. And I'm going to right click and go to my input again. Keyboard events. And I'll choose M. And this is some pretty easy math that we're setting up here. Namely that we're going to get our player health, right? So we've already declared that variable. So I'm going to drag off player health. Then I'm going to pull it out and we're going to do a plus, so just integer plus integer. Great. And then we're going to maybe go up by 5 just so we can test our bar. And then of course we're going to set player health. Right, and then those two are going to be connected. So the bottom one is instead going to be a reduction, right? So I'm going to grab player health. This is going to be the minus symbol. Integer minus integer. We'll go ahead and do it by 15 so we can see it very quickly. And then of course we're going to set player health. And we're going to drag that in there. Now what's really, really important is you make sure you do not put like a negative 15 there, because if it's minus minus plus minus minus, you're going to add 15. So don't do that. Go ahead and compile save. Now what we have to do is we actually have to bind our player health function to the progress bar. So if I go back to TP HUD, we have something over here called bind. Under percent, right? So percent bind, create binding. It's going to automatically create the code for us, which is pretty handy. And it brings us into like a custom script here, or the custom graph. So what we need to do is we need to get our player character. So right click, get player character. Okay, and then we're going to cast to our character, which is our third person character. Cast to third person character, like so. This is going to go down there. Then this is going to get our player health. Get player health. And then all we have to do is we have to convert this to a float, right? So it's 2 float. 2 float, and that will actually convert it for us. Now something that we really need to pay attention to is you're not looking at values of 0 and 100. So if I go back over here to my event graph, not my event graph, I go back to my designer and I go into my progress bar. Well, now it's already bound, but it only goes from 0 to 1. So 0 to 1 fills it up, not, just grab another one so you can see. So there it is, so 0 all the way to 1. So that's not going to work for us, right? Because ours, unfortunately, is to 100. Not unfortunately, it's just we can do some math. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide it. Okay, so it's just going to be a float divided by float, and the math for that is going to be by 100 to get us down to where we need to be. And then this is going to extend to there. Compile, it's going to give you a note that says we're not using anything for cast failed, which makes sense. We shouldn't ever fail that cast. So go ahead and save that. And now if you hit play, well, mine's there because I've already drawn the HUD, but yours won't be there because there's no HUD. So let's go ahead and put the HUD onto our scene. So the way I did that was by going into my level blueprint. Now what we want to do is actually make a custom player controller and attach it to the player controller. And we're probably going to go ahead and do that on Monday. Otherwise we have to add it to every level. But since we only have one level, it's not really that big a deal. So what I'm going to do is kind of walk you through this piece. So what we have is an event begin play, right, which is pretty easy. So event begin play, right? Now what's really important is we need our player character. That way it creates the widget for us. Okay, so get player character. So cast to third person character. This is our target. Then we're going to do create. I'm going a little bit quicker because we have already done this before. And our class will be TP HUD 2. And then we're going to promote to variable. That way we can call it. I'm going to go ahead and call this variable HUD widget 2, just because I've already made one. And then of course we're going to add to viewport. And give that a target. Compile. So now if I hit play, you can see I actually have my TP HUD 2. So if I hit M, my health goes down, and in, my health goes up. So now we can actually have things start damaging us in the environment. So as we build our platformer, we can start building traps for our character. Alright, so for instance, I've already built these spikes. Luckily, I can just hit N to fill my life back up, right? But, so this is going to allow us to test all of this and make it work for us. But that's kind of it for creating a basic HUD. If you guys saw in my original HUD, I have some score type stuff. So if I come back to that one, I have score up there in the text block, but we're not tracking score yet. I think I want to go ahead and make a player controller before we do that. So we're going to hopefully be making the player controller on Monday. I also want to go over how to kill your character so that we can kill a character and restart the game. And all that stuff, but it's a pretty simple process. That's what I want you to get working on today, and then kind of really start building your level for people to test and start being creative with your traps and all that stuff. You're going to have to make a trap. I'm not going to tell you how to make that trap. Okay.